On today's show, 3 straight losses do not mean the Phoenix Suns are a bad team. They're just missing some key pieces. What will the Suns look like when those guys get in the starting lineup? Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Phoenix Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube at 7 a.m., as well as a credentialed Phoenix Suns media member covering your Phoenix Suns 365 days of the year. That's why we call it your team every day here at the Locked On Podcast Network. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you so much for making myself and this show a part of your Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Don't forget, Locked On Phoenix Suns free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button to do what thousands of Suns fans have already done. Become it every day and get Locked On the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. All right. Is everyone of sober mind? Is everyone put that Utah Jazz kind of despicable loss in the rearview mirror? I really enjoy, and I'll say this multiple times throughout the NBA season for those everydayers, get used to this. I really enjoy coming on the show immediately after a game and reacting to what just happened. It allows me the next day to feel like, is that truly how I felt, or was I just angry? Are the Suns a bad team? I saw that a lot in the comment section. There's a lot of you guys commenting, and don't think I don't read every single one. I might not get to every single one, but pretty much every single day, I read every single comment. And a lot of you almost agreed with me too much, I thought. I should be upset that the Suns lost a game that I felt like they should have won. That was a game where I hate to reiterate myself, but I will just quickly, that the Jazz out-Suns the Phoenix Suns. They were the hard-nosed, gritty, get-on-the-floor basketball team. But then I asked myself, was that just a case of the home team won? Not necessarily the better team, but the home team won. And it does kind of feel that way. Jazz got a lot of calls their way. I will not ever blame officiating on this show. Ever. There's always a reason why you lose games past officiating. We, as media members, as an analyst, as fans, we're better than that. We don't blame officials here. Sometimes they can be bad, I'll say that, but you get it back in the next game. It all evens out at the end. But I don't think the day after I say to myself, yeah, I'm out on this Suns team. I think that's too far. I think there is a version of the Phoenix Suns that just needs to be put together for a 48-minute sample size. We've seen the Suns put together good stretches. The longest stretch we've seen of really good basketball is of game 1 in the second half. The third and fourth quarter, the Suns utterly dominated the Sacramento Kings for the first, 24 minutes and a half, 20 minutes of that game, of that half. The Kings looked good for a little bit of it, but not much. The Suns pretty much dominated them. So we know it's in there. We've seen stretches. The Suns came out in that Clippers first quarter and were up double digits. They looked good. They were hitting shots. They were running their offense. Game 3, there wasn't much there. The Nuggets just steamrolled them as they should. They're a buzzsaw. They're a lot of people's trendy NBA Finals pick. In the Jazz game, it was almost one of the same against Sacramento Kings. But here's why I say maybe the home team just won. If the Suns play the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, do they win that exact same game? I would argue maybe not. Maybe they don't get the home team whistle. Maybe they don't get the crowd behind their backs. Maybe that's what it was for Utah last night. I'm not out on this Suns season, but it's nice to Monday morning quarterback it a little bit. How do I still feel about Devin Booker? Well, I think pretty clearly it's Booker still has to be better. I really cannot stand the portion of the fan base who, and not just the portion of the fan base, but a lot of people. I can't stand this one thing, not person, but this one thing. How you can't go after Devin Booker because of what he's done for me. Well, he's helped build the foundation. The Suns are giving him $75 million a year. They have well done their part to pay Devin Booker back, both figuratively and literally. Yeah, he's built a culture. Everything he's done. He hasn't left us. It's not like he didn't get anything in return. He's making $75 million a year towards the end of his extension. He's going to be just fine. He can take some criticism. You can say and still be a Devin Booker fan, still be a Suns fan. Well, Devin Booker's got to clean it up. Because what I won't change from yesterday's, 12-minute long rant to open the show is that Devin Booker just clearly has to be better. Devin Booker has to understand this offense runs through him. I appreciate his unselfishness dishing the ball out to Dillon Brooks, finding Grayson Allen on a wing three, giving the ball to Colin Gillespie because he feels him cooking. But there were a couple instances I thought yesterday that Devin Booker could have went supernova Devin Booker and just cooked. But it's almost like he's still got big three brain, meaning I got my points. Now I got to make sure Colin Gillespie gets his. Dillon Brooks gets his. Someone's got to pull Devin Booker aside and say, hey, bro, this is your team. So, I got called a hater. Again, I don't care. It's whatever. But it does need to be addressed. No one has defended Devin Booker more than me. I said he earned the contract. I would have given it I would have given it again to him today. But in the same breath, this offense weaves and flows through Devin Booker. He has to be a more selfish player. No one would have thought yesterday, no one, 100 GMs, all 100 of them are taking Devin Booker over Lauri Markkanen. Every single time. After watching yesterday's game where Lauri Markkanen's 51 points, that every single one of them felt like a dagger, to Devin Booker's 26 shots on 34 points or something like that, 42% efficiency from the field, one team's best player showed up in the biggest moments. The other one was very timid. And I don't know if that was I'm not blaming Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal. I just think that this is kind of the way they played offense. Devin Booker is a very unselfish player. I think that is still rubbing off on Devin Booker at least a little bit. He has to understand this is his team now. There's no more Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to feed the ball to. But even yesterday, if we're looking at that box score once again, Devin Booker did take the most shots at 26, but those have to be efficient buckets. Booker's got to get to the rim. He's got to get to the foul line. 34 of his 7 points were from free throw. He missed 3 free throws once again. He is not having, at this point right now, the season the Suns need him to have to be a play-in team. I saw someone say in the comment section as well, ridiculous expectations. Really? The play-in? You think that's ridiculous expectations? Okay. We know Devin Booker can be 2021, 2022 Devin Booker. He just has to do it. And there still is some grace period with this. The Suns are putting guys in the roster. They still don't even have everyone. I think there is a little bit of Devin Booker overthinking the game a little bit. Meaning he needs this guy Jalen Green, who we'll get to in a little bit. He needs this guy Mark Williams in the starting lineup, who after last night basically played starting minutes, needs to be in the lineup. There's some things about last night that maybe I would tweak a little bit, but ultimately the Suns are still a fine team. We knew that they were going to lose more games that they were going to win this year. It doesn't mean they can't be a play-in team. It doesn't mean that Devin Booker still can't be awesome. But games can't look like it did last night. Meaning maybe you can buy into yourself the home team won. But to me, it still kind of feels like, the better hustling team won. The team that wanted it more won. Can't be talking about that again. There is some things that need to be fixed in the Phoenix Suns offense. Is it Colin Gillespie starting? What about Mark Williams? Jalen Green coming back into the fold? Let's talk about that next. Today's episode of Locked On Phoenix Suns is brought to you by the lovely, lovely folks over at Quo. Right there. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communication. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or relying on a landline. I love how Quo, formerly known as Open Phone, lets your team share one number and collaboration on calls and texts like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/NBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hands-on hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finances all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. What I love about Rippling is how it removes the bottlenecks and busy work that slows teams down. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Okay, so there is a couple of different ways that the Phoenix Suns need to get fixed. Couple of different things. First one is, and this is one I want to get out of the way quickly. Colin Gillespie has been a revolution for this Phoenix Suns team. Everything the Phoenix Suns have needed out of him, they have gotten. He has lived up to his identity as villain junior, if you will, for the Phoenix Suns this season. I'm not saying he's been a downright elite player, but in more minutes played this year, at 25 minutes a game, up nearly 10 minutes from last season, or up a full 10 minutes from last season, shooting 40% from the field, 36% from three, hasn't missed a free throw this year. He is the supercharged version that the Suns have needed off the bench. And so the question is, shouldn't you just insert him into the starting lineup because the Suns need another person that can handle the ball? I thought Grayson Allen, this is where I was wrong a little bit. I thought Grayson Allen would fit a little bit better alongside Devin Booker. What I missed about that, though, is Grayson Allen clearly isn't the best ball handler. He can literally bring the ball up the court, but he's not a playmaker. Colin Gillespie's got a little bit of a playmaker in him. I know it's, because he's white and athletic and does the gritty work. He kind of does remind me of TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell's a good playmaker. Now, a solid playmaker. He's not like a Hall of Fame level player, not an all-star level player. But he comes in the game and he makes other players better. The biggest stat that jumps out to me this year is Colin Gillespie's assist numbers. He averaged 2.5 last year. He is nearly averaging 6 of them. So as much as I love about what Colin Gillespie is doing, he is perfect for the role that he is in. He is gaining confidence in the role that he is in. He knows exactly what he is doing. That is something that the Suns have not had over the last couple of seasons. Colin Gillespie has his own individual identity, meaning he comes onto the floor, he knows exactly what he's doing. Get to the rim, make an occasional three-pointer, make players around him better. This season on its own, like if you told me who's been the better playmaker for this team, of course I would tell you Devin Booker's still a better playmaker, But I think about it for a second because that's what kind of a revolution Colin Gillespie is. Now, there are some things to fix this team. That's not one of them. But I wanted to mention it because I know it gets in there. Let Colin Gillespie be elite in his role off the bench. Play 25 minutes a night, make other players better, be supercharged defensively, make a couple of timely three-point buckets. And let me know if we can trust you to close games like the Suns trusted him last night. Here's the other one. Immediately easy thing to fix. No more Oso Ighodaro in the starting lineup. Like, God, if we're still easing Mark Williams in, I guess I get it. I don't know why you traded for him if you can't trust him to play starting lineup minutes. But Mark Williams got to go in the starting lineup. The Suns need his scoring. The Suns are already deficient in the scoring department, meaning they need a bunch of mouths out there that, or I guess I should say, they need a bunch of shooters out there who are a little spotty. Grace Snowden's been a little spotty this year. Dillon Brooks, who's not playing tomorrow, has been a little spotty this year. They don't have a lot of guys that can score the basketball. Mark Williams adds something to the starting lineup that Colin Gillespie doesn't add. Colin Gillespie's a little bit smaller, doesn't add to the defensive side of things as much as you would want them to, and it takes away from their size. Mark Williams, they get bigger. They get better rebounding. They get better scoring and touch around the rim. Like, that's an easy no-brainer that needs to be fixed starting tomorrow. And if Oso, like, maybe Mark Williams isn't ready. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Rip Oso Ighodaro from the starting lineup. Like, there's a half of a step right there. You got to put someone in. We'll say that in just a second. But he can't be in there anymore. He doesn't add to scoring. Someone mentioned in the comment section, because I said, he's a very intelligent player. And he said, if he's so intelligent, he would have been smart enough to work on his jumper. Kind of funny, but still, he is an intelligent basketball player. But he doesn't add anything that this team already doesn't have. Dillon Brooks is a smart basketball player. Grace Snowden's a smart basketball player. Devin Booker is a smart basketball player. Bring something else different to the table. Grace Snowden brings three-point shooting. Dillon Brooks brings toughness. Ryan Dunn brings toughness and a defensive anchor. What does Oso Ighodaro bring? So if it's not Mark Williams tomorrow, because I don't know, maybe you want to be careful with his minutes. I get it to a degree. At some point, the bill's going to come due for him to be starting. Maybe it's not tomorrow. Maybe it's later on. But then start Nick Richards. He adds at least an element defensively. That's not elite or great, but it's better than what Oso Ighodaro is doing. Bigger player, plays more physical, and if you have an identity in that, then put Nick Richards in there. Here's the last thing. The last thing that has to happen. The Suns don't get a lot of winnable games. How many times am I going to say this to you? They don't get a lot. They don't get a lot of time to tinker with things. If they truly are trying to be a play-in team this year, they don't get a lot of these easier games. The Grizzlies are more talented than the Suns. But again, this is a game you got to win. You beat the Grizzlies, you beat the Jazz, you're back at 500 by Friday. And then, all right, house money with the Spurs, Warriors, and Clippers coming up. We'll talk about that when we get there. But this is not time to get cute with the lineups. Get Nigel Hayes-Davis off the floor. This is a Rasheer Fleming and Kamal Malawat showcase. The Suns have been a bad defensive team this year. What do both those guys add? Rasheer Fleming can obviously shoot the ball and can be, I think, an elite defensive player. You traded up for him. Play Rasheer Fleming. No more getting cute with the lineup. Play your first overall selection in the second round. With that being said as well, you know who could have really helped spark, some defensive prowess? Kamal Malawat. Again, you might like Oso. What does he add to this team that the team doesn't already have? It can't just be passing of the basketball. I know what Kamal Malawat adds. Elite defense and pressure around the rim, meaning you're going to run a pick and roll with him. You better make sure you've got someone to take the backdoor cover from Kamal Malawat. Otherwise, they're going to throw it up. the Suns have got to make defenses be more honest. Too many times, and again, this is why I haven't went scorched earth on Devin Booker, but too many times are they blitzing and sending double teams at Devin Booker, forcing the ball out of his hand. Someone else beat us. And it's causing Devin Booker to speed up his game and to be timid and to always, look over his shoulder. Where's that second defender coming from? Add someone else to that lineup that can help him with that. So those are, things right there. 3 things. Start Mark Williams. Oso Ighodaro cannot be playing. Let's get the rookies in there. It's time we got the rookies in there. Let's also move on to the last part of the program. Let's preview this Memphis Grizzlies game and let's get an injury report update. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. Whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors, this is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. The swivel screen is game changer. You can move from running on the tread plus to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Okay, so reinforcements might be on the way for the Phoenix Suns tomorrow. Previewing this Memphis Grizzlies game, which again, how much previewing can you do of the Grizzlies' perspective 4 games in? We will try our best, but let's go here. Jalen Green, right hamstring strain, has been upgraded to questionable. Dillon Brooks, right groin soreness, remains out. The Suns have depth, right? They have more depth than they had in years prior. But an injury or two, like Jalen Green or Dillon Brooks, can really test that depth. And it's even, really frustrating that they've had to test this depth a little bit. And Kamal, Malawat, and Rasheer Fleming aren't beneficiaries of that. But that's, I digress there. The Suns need Jalen Green badly. I have done a full 180 on this. Yes, I am concerned about Jalen Green is fit next to Devin Booker. But after 4 games, I don't think I really care. Because alongside Colin Gillespie, Jalen Green offers something that no one else on this team offers. Ball handling, playmaking, getting to the rim, adding pressure to the opposing team's defense. How many times have we seen double and triple teams been thrown at Devin Booker? Really, teams' defensive game plans have not been exotic against Devin Booker. They have not been crazy or out of the ordinary. What they are is make someone else beat you. It's actually, obviously a pretty good plan when you're playing the Phoenix Suns. However, yesterday's starting lineup consisted of Royce O'Neal, Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, and Oso Ighodaro. Pretty easy to start blitzing Devin Booker every time he gets the ball and say, Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen beat us. And Royce O'Neal almost did in a couple instances. Grayson Allen was mostly bad, but played good towards the end of that game. The Suns need someone else so that the opposing team isn't just throwing blitzes at Devin Booker all game. I think it is clearly shaking up the way he is playing. If Jalen Green is finally back, and let me say this as well, I don't want Jalen Green back unless he's 100% ready to go. Because if he is not, that is something, once again, he steps onto the floor, tweaks his hamstring a little bit, it could be a 2-monther. And the Suns simply can't go without Devin Booker or Jalen Green, or even lumping into that, Colin Gillespie in the lineup to some degree, in the rotation in some degree for super long. Because they don't got enough ball handlers. They don't got enough guys that can take the ball up the court and make things a little bit easier for everyone. And so Jalen Green might be back tomorrow, and he can add an element to this team that the Suns are in desperate need of right now. Dylan Brooks is out tomorrow. Quick thoughts on that. Next man up mentality. I know Royce O'Neal had some stretches yesterday where it was a little rough. But I've been thoroughly impressed with Royce O'Neal through this season because expectations matter. My expectations for Royce O'Neal at the beginning of the season was like, where's he going to play? And then, of course, Rasheer Fleming and Nigel Hayes-Davis. Nigel Hayes-Davis actually takes minutes from Rasheer Fleming. Royce O'Neal plays most of those backup 4 minutes. I've been impressed with Royce O'Neal. And same thing with Dylan Brooks. I don't want him back until he's 100% healthy. You tweak that groin again, it turns into a 2-monther injury. So Dylan Brooks likely out tomorrow. Jalen Green, questionable. I think I'd be a little surprised as of, what time am I recording this? 7:21 p.m. on October 28th. I think I'd be a little surprised if Jalen Green didn't show up tomorrow. So my expectation is that he will probably play tomorrow. Here's my last tidbit on the Memphis Grizzlies game tomorrow. Jordan Knott has not shown the ability to do what I think every other team has done to the Phoenix Suns through the first 4 games of the season. Make life really hard for Devin Booker. Kawhi Leonard got his. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray got theirs. James Harden got theirs. Jordan Knott's got to make life difficult on the Sun. They've got to make life difficult on Ja Morant and/or, I want to make sure, I have it obviously correctly. I was right here. They need to make life difficult on Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. There was something there for me for a second where I was like, did Jaren Jackson Jr. did play. He wasn't injured or anything. But Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, you got to pick one of those guys to circle the game plan around and say, we can't let you beat us. Ja Morant is not necessarily having a good season. Shooting the ball from 3 poorly, chucking up shots. He's shooting a field goal percentage of 42. If there's one of those two guys that I'm like, Jordan not focus in on, it's Jaren Jackson Jr. He has been the bane of the Phoenix Suns' existence over the last couple of years because he has bullied their center rotation, including DeAndre Ayton, just so we're being clear. But Yusuf Nurkic has been bullied. The Suns have to not let Jaren Jackson Jr. drop another 40 piece on this team like he did last year on New Year's Eve. I would know. I was at that game. He took the Grizzlies C team and beat the Suns. So Jordan Knott's got to show the ability to make life difficult on opposing team star players. James Harden got his. Kawhi Leonard got his. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, no issues. Zach LaVine, outside of the final quarter, got his. There has got to be a calculated effort to blitz, make life difficult on either Ja Morant as a ball handler or Jaren Jackson Jr. down low. Those two guys cannot be the reason why you lose tomorrow. I don't want to be talking about this tomorrow night from PHX Arena Mortgage Matchup Center and say, well, they just couldn't stop Jaren Jackson Jr. again. I'll die on the hill that I'm okay with Cedric Coward beating this team and/or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'll live with that. Memphis Grizzlies, just so you guys have a clear picture, not exactly an elite defensive team, giving up 122 points, 114 points, 103 points against the Pacers. They got to win there. And 118 points against the Golden State Warriors. Shouldn't be too hard to put points up on this team. But with that being said, they've also dropped 128, 146. I'm sorry, 128, 114, 128, 118. They can score the ball. Suns got to show that their defense can outdo that offense. With that being said, guys, Suns Grizzlies tonight, tomorrow, however you may be listening, wherever you may be listening, tonight, tomorrow. I'll be at the game from Mortgage Matchup Arena, the Morgue, if you will, covering that game. And if I had to pick a winner right now, I think I'd take Memphis. They're just the team that is more trustworthy right now. Again, that could change. We're 4 games into the season. I don't feel great about that selection. That being said, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms here at Ben Garcia Show. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Myself, for Benjamin Garcia, Locked On Phoenix Suns. Talk to you guys tomorrow.